Super microcomputer was up 4% last week. It's down 22% on the month and 15% in the last 3 months. 6 months it's down 17%. So SMCI stock has been bearish for a number of months now. But it does look as if it's about to turn a corner and possibly present a great short, medium and long-term opportunity with this tech stock. Let's take a look. I'd like to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/DavidB for the 5 best stocks to buy now. Use my special link to get $200 off their epic annual subscription. Now, if you find value in my analysis of super microcomputer today, you may also find value in my channel membership. I've just launched the new trader tier where you can gain access to buy and sell signals for ASX 100 stocks and NASDAQ 100 stocks. So blue chip stocks, swing trading over the medium to long term. You get a monthly video where I talk about the buy and sells and the opportunities, and also access to a Google Sheet where I list exactly what to buy and when to buy it. So if that is something you might find value in, click down below and check it out. So last week SMCI was up 4%, it's down 22% on the month. It does look as if now, on the weekly chart, super microcomputer is looking for support around about $30 and maybe about to change direction and move back up. March 2024 was when super microcomputer made its all-time high of $123. We can see that price peak here. Since that time, it was sold off and eventually it moved down to find significant support around $17, and that was in November 2024. So about a year ago now. Now, over the last 12 months, we can see that super microcomputer has moved up. It has been trending up, creating higher highs and higher lows, signifying a medium-term uptrend. You can see here it moved up to about $50, came back, found support at $25 before having 3 bullish weeks up here, creating that peak of 66 in February this year. This is a key level for SMCI. It then was sold off over a number of weeks to find support at around about $27, so a little bit higher than the last base. It then tracked sideways before buyers came back in, seeing value at this level, and it pushed off once again to create this peak at around $62. So it fell short of this last peak here, signifying potentially a price reversal. It was sold off again back into $40 support. So you can see here the lows are getting higher, which is very positive. But unfortunately, this wedge pattern was forming and eventually it did fall out the bottom. As we know with this type of flag or wedge formation, it can either break out to the upside or the downside as that price action starts to compress. On this occasion, based on the fundamentals, it did fall out the bottom and it has been bearish for the last 4 weeks. So we can see here SMCI, it moved down to around about $37 support. And if I zoom in a bit, that was the sort of first level where it might slow down. But there was more selling pressure, it did fall through, and it looks as if now it's trying to find support around about $30. The last 2 weeks have been looking more positive for SMCI. We've got these 2 green bars. They're both obviously moving the price up. They both closed high, which is positive, but it's very early to jump in on this stock for a trade. We've just hit support. We've got 2 weeks up. If you're thinking about entering SMCI on a weekly rule, potentially you want to see a break above 37, or better still, wait for this first pullback, first red bar to see what the sellers have got. So let's say we get a red bar next week, it comes down, perhaps finds support about 32 or 31. We need that low to stay well above this low here. And then the following week, we want to see a break above that previous high, just to confirm that the buyers are in control and they're looking to take the price higher. And then potentially you could use Dow theory to take an entry once price breaks above and closes on the weekly chart above that previous peak. That would be a good rule to follow. And for a short-term trade, you could look at targeting the $50 level, which seems to be a significant level for this stock. And that would give you decent upside for a short-term to medium-term trade of around about 40%, which is great. And of course, in terms of your risk management, you could place your stop at this $30 level. Now, over on the daily chart for SMCI, we can see how price has been moving up in the last few days, showing the support for this stock at these price levels around $30. So we can see there we've got that reversal candle here, which was on Friday, November 21st. It then moved up the next day before there was a bit of selling pressure. The low was about $31. It closed back up, and then it has been moving up last week overall. So we can see we've got that first little peak here after the bounce, and then if I zoom right in, we can see on this day here, on that day which was Friday, it did close above that peak. So you could have taken an entry there short term. It did fall away for a few days before then bouncing back up and closed high last Friday. So it does look as if that on the daily, this is starting to trend up. We can see here that first peak, got the higher low, and then we've got price moving up here, got an outside bar, it moved up to create this peak here, got a higher low, and now it closed high last Friday. So short term on the daily, SMCI is starting to trend up, but it's just short term. Nevertheless, if you are using the daily chart to trade, there's an opportunity there. There is a risk to reward of 1.45. You could set your stop down here at -8% and then target a plus 11% gain at that $37 level. And of course, if it keeps moving up, stay with the trade and target these other levels on the daily, which might be around about here, corresponding to the support here and here. That would be 16% upside. And then of course, this key level up here of $50, which would be an upside for around about 50%. Okay, so what about long term for super microcomputer? Let's check out the monthly chart and look at the longer term price action. So we can see here, big reversal bar around about $17 about 12 months ago. Since that time, it has moved up. It has been trending up. You can see got a trend line here going up and also a trend line here coming down, just signifying this wedge pattern. It did fall at the bottom here, so a very bearish month in November. November did offer fundamental reasons why there was negative reaction to the news and investors didn't like it. They didn't see the value in the stock anymore and a number of investors have sold out. So November was bearish. It has been sold down to about $30, but so far in December, early days, we're only a week in, we can see that potentially SMCI might be reversing at this level. So watch this closely in terms of a long-term opportunity. I think for a safe entry, you want to see price break above $50 for a longer term trade. At the moment, we've got this trend line in place coming down. We've got this high here, lower high, lower high. We've got a lower high here, a lower high again, and then this high here in October is also lower. So we've got these highs getting lower and lower, suggesting it's trending down. But at the same time, we've got these lows getting higher, creating this pattern. I think for confirmation, we want to see price come back into this zone here and then break above $50. I think for confirmation long term, we want to see it move up, potentially test, 48.50. It might find some short-term resistance, come back down, and then you want to see it punch through above 50. So you want to see it close the other side, potentially, around about 55 could be a level to watch. just to give you confirmation that the stock is not going to find resistance here and continue the downtrend. We want to see a strong break above these levels to show that buyers are committed. They've outmuscled the sellers and they want to take the price higher towards 66, which is a key level based on the price action back here. Now, once it clears 66, then there is a clear run towards $100, which is this level here. And then longer term onto 123, the all-time high. So I'm still bullish on this company long term. I think it's got great tech, great product, and a lot of long-term potential. But right now, the investor sentiment has been negative during November. But it could be oversold right now, and it could be a good opportunity to watch this one for an entry for some long-term gains. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you bullish on SMCI? Have you bought or sold SMCI recently? What price do you think would be a good entry in terms of a long-term trade? Are you looking at 37, or do you want more confirmation at 50? Maybe you're even waiting for higher confirmation above 66 and then looking for a longer term trade towards 100. Everyone's got different rules, different risk appetite. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.